kids, thanks for tuning into Beanie TV, where I offer you sprinkles of spiritual sassiness. So today, guys, we're going to talk about my ego and how it is so important, and your ego, and how it is so important to identify our egos and cut that ish out. Okay, so what is the ego? The ego is the false self. It is that part of our minds that says we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're too fat, we're not intelligent enough, things like that. The parts of the part of your brain that tells you that you are not good enough, or that you're too good and can't nobody touch you, in a negative, mean, narcissistic way. It is so important to identify your ego, because when you identify your ego and egoic thoughts, and you can even identify it as negative thoughts in your mind, you have the power to turn that ish around. So I am coming into this really beautiful space in my life where I'm just like, I don't know who I am, but these are the things that I know for sure that I'm taking with me as I get older. So one thing, I know I have the power to shift my thoughts. I know I have this power, and I'm thankful that I identify this power. I encourage you to figure out where your power is. Do you have power in manifesting? Do you have power in calming yourself down in heated situations? Wherever your power is, I ask you to honor that. I ask you to acknowledge that, and I ask you to go forth and use that, because that is a very amazing tool. So I have the power to recognize egoic thoughts and switch them around. I just don't use it often enough. So I know when my ego is at play when I'm thinking about other people, and not in a good way. I am thinking about what I think other people think about me. I'm thinking about my really close friends or family members in a negative way. I'm thinking about the things that they've done that make me so mad. I'm thinking about personality quirks and flaws in them. The ego loves for me to think about situations with people that, like, my ego loves for me to get into arguments with people in my head. So in my head, I'm going back to a certain situation, and instead of me like I'm cursing someone out in in this egoic visions and thoughts, and that sucks, because my friends are so loving and amazing, wonderful, successful people. My family is so loving, so open, so receptive to all that I am, my imperfect, perfect self. And I know that those aren't my thoughts. I love my friends, I love my family, I love my internet fam, I love you guys. And yet the ego makes me think that everyone is my enemy. So everyone's ego works differently. That's how mine works. And I can identify it, and I can say, no, I love this person. No, this person is amazing to me, and I love everything about this person, even their flaws, because I accept my own flaws. Like, you know, I'm able to say those are not my thoughts, because in reality, there is a lot of love in my life. So I ask you guys to identify your ego, because my ego is not about how I feel about myself, because I feel like I've done so much work in loving every single thing about myself. When I got clothes on, when I'm naked, when I'm working out, when I'm dancing, whatever, I can't see myself, my physical self, in a negative way anymore, and the ego knows that. So now I feel like the ego is trying to make me see other people as the enemy, and that's something I'm working on. So I ask you guys this week to really work on what your ego does, because maybe your ego tries to tell you that you're not beautiful, that you're not smart, that you won't get that job, that you won't excel to higher levels in life. And I want you to know that that is false. We are able to do everything. We are born from the Creator. We have the power to create, and your life is your story. Your life is your art. Your life is your illusion. Do with it what you want. Let go of the hurtful stuff. Let go of the past, and walk into the greatness that God wants you to have. Like, God wants you to be happy. God wants you to be abundant and prosperous, because that is what God is. So this week, work on identifying your ego and write out these crazy ass thoughts, because it's really great if you're able to see these crazy ass false thoughts, and when you write them out, tell yourself a new story. Release yourself from limiting beliefs, release yourself from false stories, because it's just not true, boo. It ain't true, boo. If you are, if you want to get to a higher level of self-love, and if you want to raise your consciousness, I ask you to join my 4-week self-love e-course, my Be Love Education e-course. The link is below. Feel free to sign up for my free affirmation and free meditation. So this week, guys, identify your ego, identify your limiting beliefs and false stories. Do it with me. I'm growing in this, I'm learning this, and I'm learning this with you guys. So leave some comments below. Let's share it together. Let's raise our consciousness. Let's live our best lives, because that's what God wants us to do. That's what I want to do. I want to see how far I can go. I want to see the impossible done in my life, and I know that you want the same thing. So I thank you guys. And you know, if you are going through dark times or emotional times, sit down in that space and allow yourself to be there. Allow yourself to write everything out. Allow yourself to cry it out. Allow yourself to paint it out. Whatever you have to do that is not destructive to your body, do what you have to do in that space. You know, I find myself trying to, every time I say I'm going to end a video, I don't, because I end up going on a rant. But every time I have these crazy egoic thoughts, and it's practice slicing them down and turning them around. So sometimes I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna let this egoic thought go on. I know this isn't me. I'm gonna just let it go on, because I know eventually it'll stop, you know. So sometimes identifying it and fighting against it, that's the practice part. And then there's other times I'm just like, I am so tired. Ego, do what you gotta do. I know these are my thoughts anyway. You're detached, you know, you become detached from it. So that's why I say, if you're in this emotionally dark place, if you're in this dark place in your mind, sometimes I say, as long as it's not destructive, as long as you're not staying there, as long as you're not staying there in the long term, I think it's okay to be there for a little while and feel out those feelings, those negative ones, and work through them. The key is to work through them. I'm not saying to stay in that dark place. I am saying to work through that dark space, because like everything in this world, it is so temporary, and on the other side is light, love, harmony, and good people wanting to be here with you and for you and all of that good stuff. So I thank you guys for tuning in. Check out the links below, and I'll see you guys next video.